Thank you for joining today's webinar. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you with us for today's webinar. Today's session will focus on how to revolutionize your warehouse with WithoutWire Enterprise WMS for Sage 100, which will be presented by Steve Dwyer, Senior Vice President of Enterprise Sales. After the presentation, we'll open the floor for Q&A, so feel free to add any questions you may have to the chat. All right, without further delay, I'm going to hand it over to you, Steve. Take it away.
Thank you, Melissa, and welcome everyone. And pleased to have you joining us for our Enterprise Warehouse Management System, or WMS, for Sage 100. I'd like to begin by introducing WithoutWire. There we go. WithoutWire was founded in 2001, so 24 years in the market, and built completely on the Microsoft technology stack. We have a robust solution for distribution and other verticals, but our platform today will really be focused on the Sage 100 options and opportunities. We have over 7,500 active sites around the world, and we've come to a very proven, reliable 5-stage project process to get you to go live. From a product overview standpoint, you can see the best of breed warehouse management functionality on the inbound, purchase order receiving, image capture, barcode alias, returns processing, quality control and inspections, warehouse transfers, directed put away of those goods to their forward pick locations, min-max based replenishments. From inventory operations, we have a system-wide audit trail to help you in terms of a time date stamp of every transaction within the system with a history log, so you can always go back and investigate any transactions from the past. And we have digital recall capabilities I'll touch on in just a moment. A full physical inventory count system, ABC blind cycle count capability without freezing inventory, inventory adjustments, permission controlled, stock rotation, FIFO, FIFO, and other methods. For the outbound, we have the ability to prioritize orders, assign them out to a picker group or an individual, single order pick, wave pick, lot directed, again, FIFO and FIFO and the most efficient pick path through the warehouse. And then to pack out and print final documents, perhaps a bill of lading, a packing slip, or a C of A, and then ship it out the door. There was an article just this week about frozen waffles recalled for listeria. Hundreds of frozen waffles and leading retailers were being recalled because of contamination by the listeria bacteria. This is often, almost every week, you can see something like this. And WithoutWire is pleased to offer a 3-step, 3-minute, fully digital recall. And when you think about, a paper-based world, that could be 4 or 5 individuals over 4, 5, or 10 days to do a similar type of track, a step backwards in your supply chain and a step forward in your supply chain. I wanted to show an example of a typical item lot label where one barcode represents the item number and lot, and we have the item number and the lot number, which are also separate here. Just an example. Also, we of course are compatible with 3 of 9 barcodes or GS128 or GTIN barcodes, where we can actually parse the data from within the barcode for item, lot, or serial. And also compatible with 2D or QR codes as well. I wanted to show a typical license plate label. If you're not familiar with license plates, you can think of it as like a pallet tag. But really a license plate is a movable bin, and it has many applications within our system. You'll see a little bit in the demonstration, which will follow. But here's an example where a large order was picked for 6 pallets of product. Pallet 4 on license plate 6282 has the following human readable contents within the pallet. So just a nice example and application of license plates where it brings you barcode labeling efficiency and scanning efficiency for rapid movements throughout your warehouse and out the door. We have multilingual capabilities on the mobile device and on our web console. Using Google Translate, in this example, we get the Spanish ribbons along the left that you see here. And a quick overview of the flow between your Sage 100 and the WithoutWire system. You know, real-time RESTful APIs through integration, connecting the two systems. Your Sage 100 is still the master of items, customers, vendors, POs, and sales orders, and invoicing. We have treatments of lots and bins within our system, or it could be in both systems. WithoutWire, you could think of as the master of inventory and the movements and all the transactions. We real-time sync inventory quantities so you can do your financial work in Sage 100. But we would do PO receipts, sales order fulfillment, replenishment, bin transfers, adjustments, cycle counts, and multi-bin and lot tracking. So the PO is created in Sage 100. Through integration, it flows to our system, and it can change today, and you can make more changes tomorrow. When the truck actually arrives, say next week, we're going to lock that PO and do the receiving on it and report those results back to Sage so that you can review and post to your general ledger and pay the vendor the appropriate amount that it actually arrived as we record it through our receiving process. Similarly, sales orders are created. They can be changed and adjusted until it's time for picking, where we're going to grab the order, not accept any more changes, do the fulfillment, provide that fulfillment record back so you can properly invoice the customer. From a services standpoint, to kind of take you from setup to go live, we have 2 key roles, a project manager and a solution consultant. And that's providing you a very efficient process to get you through all your testing, user acceptance testing, and go live. From a support standpoint, we do have 24/7 support. We have a support portal where you can log your issues, and we have 4 levels of service level agreements to resolve those issues, whether it's I need a response, so this is mission critical, the next 30 minutes or an hour. I need it same day, or a 2-day response, or a 10-day response, depending on the criticality of the issue. Our standard hours are 7 to 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. We do have an intercom chat feature on the mobile and the web console as well for immediate response, and be sure to ask us about white glove support as well. From a device standpoint, we are essentially compatible with any iOS or Android device, though we do certify them. So be sure to check with us, and we do list our certified devices out on our website. And but you can expect the leaders, you know, Zebra, Honeywell types of Android devices that are very rugged, long-range scanning, pistol grip, forklift mounted, or semi-rugged, or Bluetooth paired and consumer-based devices, whether it's a Kindle Fire or a rugged Android tablet or an iPad or an iTouch or an iPhone. So you've got many different device options. They're available to you. So at this point, I'm going to transition over to do a short demonstration for you of the WithoutWire warehouse management platform. We have two key interfaces, as I mentioned. I'll just make sure I'm refreshed here and good to go. You can see I'm logged in as John Doe for this demo, and I have several warehouses I have access to. I'll be spending my time in the warehouse today. And you can see the first thing you're presented with is our Inventory 360 Power BI dashboard embedded here. And I really call this our never lost, because it's so easy to search for an item number or item description or lot, serial, bin, and so on. If I look at an item number here, it focuses on just that item number in its various locations with its description, its bin location, its lot information. Is it tied to a project or unallocated? Is it active or on hold? Quantity and unit of measure. Similarly, if I want to search by item description, because I have not memorized every part within our warehouse, here is the matching description. It's a serialized part. Here are all the different serial numbers in this bin within the main warehouse. And of course, quantity is 1 when it's a serialized part. Similarly, lot searches, bin searches, and so forth. We have more Power BI, but this is just a quick example. You can see the tabs along the bottom here. I'll come back into the console. If we look at the left-hand ribbons, we have the inbound receiving, the outbound pick, pack, ship, inventory operations around things like manufacturing kitting, license plate tools, bin tools, item tools, and cycle counts. We have our business intelligence where we go deep with a base reports that is about 60 strong over the years. And then the system maintenance for adding users, giving them permissions through group types. What can they see on the web console? How many icons will show up on their mobile device? And what reports do they have access to? You can set up zones, create and edit sites rapidly. We have other configuration settings and the data setup tools, which are very handy, really an import-export standalone system if needed, but very handy through the implementation, where we have bin templates, item templates, inventory, POs, picks, and other templates that you see here that you can import into our system and export transactions over a date range and transaction type. So now let's transition to the mobile and give you a quick overview here as well. You can see I could add items 1 at a time or 3,000 at a time through our templates that I was just showing you, the item template. So a couple ways to import information into our system, also through our APIs and integration, reading from the Sage 100 Item Master. So 3 ways. We have the PO receiving and the directed put away, pick, pack, and ship, bin transfers, adjustments if you have permission, usually reserved for supervisors and managers, ABC blind cycle counts, and we have more advanced features that could be important, things like replenishment that you're seeing here. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, before I get into a day in the life of your operations, is show you something in terms of a quick lookup from the mobile. I showed you on the Power BI. If we do what we call a main screen scan, I can scan any item, license plate, or bin right from this main screen. You can see I learn a great deal of information. I scan the item. You can see it has 3 different locations, or actually in this case, the same location, but different lots and different allocation of inventory. This one has a red circle, so that tells me it's on a quality hold and it's pending some further inspection before release or destruction. If I tap on this top item, I can see that Not only does it have the item and description, the lot number, the quantity, unit of measure, the bin location, it's active as in not on hold, and it has additional attributes of expiration date and image capture. So I can see what does it look like inside the package or outside the package. I can take additional images as well if I'd like. I'll back out of this. If I swipe right to left, I get an options button, which gives me additional functionality to do a barcode alias, to do an adjustment, create a cycle count for this item in this bin, do a bin transfer immediately, print the label, or look at the history of this item in this bin. Now, another way to do the same thing is what we call a hamburger menu right here. And this time, through my search, I'll type MAS as a description search. And so you can see MAS and MAS. But what I was looking for is this mask. I tap, and here I am at that same spot. I can tap deeper, and again, where I showed you before. So two very easy ways to basically do never lost on the mobile. You can always find out where does an item belong, which bin, and or what license plates are available here. So if we do the day in the life, imagine that vendor has just arrived at our dock door delivering goods. And so we can pop into our receiving, find the matching PO. You could have a long list here, and we have that search capability here as well, where if I type in 20, and we look at this 2049, which happens to match the vendor's purchase order they're delivering, you can see this PO came from Sage 100. It is for this vendor, from this vendor, and it has two line items. The first one is lot tracked, the second is not, and the quantities ordered. Now there are settings with receiving where you may say, for this vendor, I do not want to allow any over receiving, and or I'll allow up to 10%, depending on the nature of the items that you need. So what I can do is tap through my receiving screen, or I can scan. I'll actually scan. I'm looking at the barcode right here. Before I do that, just to show you the barcode alias, just by swiping, I can tap here, acquire barcode, and associate the vendor's barcode on the package to my internal part number, so I don't have to relabel the product coming in the door. I give it a scan. Because it's lot tracked, it requires me to capture a lot and confirm the quantity. If I come down to options, you can see I have additional options here where I could print the label, damage it, undo the receipt, move it directly, maybe to a manufacturing location where it's needed immediately, toggle units of measure, receive in pallets or cases or each. And our live support, our intercom chat here, and here on the web console. So you've got that in both places. Let's go ahead and damage a couple items coming in the door. I'll identify two. I hit OK, and you'll notice 486 good, 2 damaged against the 488 ordered. Drops me down, grays that out, I head to the next line. Now, maybe that's all that was on the truck, and this next item is being delivered tomorrow. That's fine. I could exit the PO and continue receiving it some more tomorrow. But let's imagine it is on the truck. I'll give it a scan, and let's try to receive more than what's on it. So if I receive 505, sometimes it's important to show error messaging here. And so here is that friendly error message. The quantity entered is greater than the allowed quantity. So that's a good reminder. I can come here and figure out that I've perhaps fat fingered things, and actually it was 500. And we'll accept that, it grays it out. Now at this point, I've finished every line. I can hit OK. Would you like to complete the PO? And I'll say yes. And I have set this up to prompt for a vendor signature. You'll recall we've got the 2 damaged here. I hit yes. It flies the signature screen, and I present that to the driver. He or she initials, and that PO now disappears from my task list under receiving. If I come to the web console, we can see in real time what took place as a supervisor. I come in here, I might filter to see all, and with a little scrolling here, 2049, it's now in a receiving complete status where previously it was waiting for receipt. If I come into the details, I can see John Doe did the work, and when I began and ended each line of the purchase order, item 1, item 2, quantity, damage quantity, it's all here, including the driver's signature. So this is the record we're going to push through integration back to Sage 100 to be reviewed and posted so you pay the proper amount to that vendor based on the good product received. So then as a second step, after we have received these goods, I'm showing you a two-step receive where it actually sits in the receiving bin 1, and then I can come to put away, scan the item sitting there in the dock door, and it tells me now that directed put away, where is that product currently located in our warehouse? And if I wanted, I could have it display empty bins here as well, and those would be listed right here. I will tap on that first one. I'm going to send it to that bin, and it's confirming the lot. Everything looks good. I hit OK, and those goods now have been put away to that location. I'll scan that second item I received. We'll put it away as well. I select my bin when I arrive there, and I drop those goods off, and that now is disappeared from my put away tasks. From this point, what I'd like to do is have a short review of min-max replenishment. And in this case, it's an overstock replenishing to a primary pick location. And just to show you how that's set up, if I come here, type in my item number, BP1000, you can see I have an overstock and a primary bin P12. I have a min of 20 and a max of 100 that I can fit within this bin. You can see my current quantity is 18, so I would expect an automated task to be created and pushed out to my user base to complete and top this product off at 100 in this location, taking those goods from overstock. If I come back to the mobile, and in the picking tile, we have sales orders and other types of picks, but we also have replenishment orders, and they come in as a move type. If I look at move 1138, you can see here, it's saying, hey, we need to move 82 from overstock, and it's going to actually direct us where to move it. So at this point, what I could do is scan the bin or scan the item, and it says, okay, we've got the 82. It all looks good, so I'll hit this OK button, and it grabbed the lot that was available. It's in the background putting this on a license plate, LP1733. And if I hit the next button, it says, okay, we need to move this to the P12 bin. If I hit next again, it auto fills that P12, and the 82 are all good. So when I'm ready at the P12, I drop it off, I hit OK, and that move task disappears from my pick screen. If we look in real time and do a refresh, you see the 18 here, and I refresh the console, and now it's topped off at the 100, and I've reduced the quantity out of overstock. So that's the min-max based replenishment we can do within sites and cross sites. Okay, another common inventory operation. When I'm done receiving, I'm waiting to pick sales orders. A good idea would be to pop into my cycle counts and work on some of those tasks real time throughout the day while other pickers are picking and other receivers and put away folks are doing their put away. I come into cycle count and I do have a count assigned to me. It's an item count and it is located in these two bins. So what I can do is either scan the bin or I could actually tap through these screens and I see the item to count, but because it's a blind count showing 0, I really have to do the counting to come up with a good result. Now what I like to do when I have multiple units of measure is to count the largest unit of measure first. The case quantities, we have 23, I hit OK. I come back in here and I want to do my 3 each that are kind of stragglers in the bin. I hit OK. It increments that to 1153 and I'm all good. So I'm going to go to hit the back, hit the back button here. And I'm going to go to my next bin location and I can give it a scan. And again, do that count. Now in this case, maybe there really only were, we'll say 43 each. And that concludes my count. I hit the back button again and everything's grayed out. So I'm good to hit the done button and complete the count. Yes. From a user on the floor, I could come back into counts and it says no more counts. From a supervisor, I have the ability through the web console, again, this is kind of my air traffic control center, to review those counts. I come to the count console, select my counter, perhaps looking at what's in needs review. I hit filter, and here is that count that was just completed. And if I look at the details, I can see here's the item, the 2 bin locations, the quantity counted, the quantity our system and Sage 100 to be available, and the quantity and percent variance, who did the work. Now, if I want, I can select the reason code, hit update and complete, and these will become my new counts, and we push an adjustment for these quantities into WithoutWire and all the way to Sage 100 in real time. Now those are large and I may not want to just accept that kind of adjustment. And so I have the option of choosing a senior counter, or John is new, needs some practice. I hit recount. When John comes back to the mobile and taps on cycle count, that count is waiting for him again. So that's a quick example on cycle counts. I showed you an item count. We also have bin counts, 2 kinds of bin counts. So ways to get to that full physical inventory very rapidly and efficiently. So at this point, what I'd like to do is transition to a sales order pick. And I come into the same picking tile and I can start on top and work my way down the picks, or if there's a particular one I'm looking for with 4, 5, and we can do this 4, 5, 1, 8 right here. This order has a message from customer service, ship UPS ground. I can dismiss that by hitting OK. I can always refer back to it with this information button. Now, what I'm using today is an iPhone with a Bluetooth paired scanner, that socket mobile I showed you in the PowerPoint. But you also can scan using the camera, and you can just tap right here or down here to access the camera to do your scanning. There's a keyboard there. You can even type if needed. But what I'll do, and the way I have my picking set up, is I can scan item or bin. If there's multiple lots, it's going to ask me to verify what lot I'm actually picking. So I'll go ahead and scan the 03 bin. Because there's multiple lots, it's saying, okay, let's identify the lot. Got it. And it defaults to the quantity. Now, it defaulted to 20. You could make the user, default it to 0, and the user has to enter the quantity. Or for some products and some environments, they want 20 scans for a pick of 20. So there's just different variations in setup. And if I hit OK, as you'd expect, it grays that out and it sends me down to the next bin. So we're taking an alphanumeric path here and the most efficient pick path through the warehouse as we've set this one up. So here I can scan item or bin. and it's picking 10 from the 04 bin. Just to show you the options, lower left, I'll tap here. You can see I could print a label, hit next location. If there's some reason I couldn't pick from here, undo the pick, short the item. It asks for 10, maybe there's only 8 in the bin and there's no other bin, so I could short 2. And then we work with you on the logic back to stage 100. Do you cancel the 2 and just ship the 8, or do you create a back order for the 2 that were not available? And our other options there. So I'll cancel out of this and hit OK. And it grays it out to finish my pick. In the background, if I tap on this information, not only do I have the UPS ground notification, but I also have this LP in the background that it's collecting this pick onto. And that's very handy when it comes to staging. So at this point, I'll hit OK. Would you like to ship immediately? And I'll say no, we'll stage this. Maybe there's some final documents we want to print. So we're going to move from John Whip, and this LP is going to stay with this order in the staging bin 1. So we're going to nest this LP, which is like a movable bin, inside of a bin. I hit OK, and that product is dropped off at stage bin 1, and it disappears from my queue. Now we've printed some final documents. Maybe we've gone through a UPS screen to do a shipping label, and then we can come to our outbound to finish that by order shipment. And if we come here and type 45, it finds the match. We hit go, and as we'd expect, this order for this customer is waiting for shipment status. The 2 items picked with the lot information are in stage bin 1 on the license plate that we designated. John Doe did the work. I may come in here and have a UPS tracking number to enter. And then I hit confirm shipment to get my success message. And that product is now out the door. So that's just one example of picking. Picking is one of the most complex parts of our system. So there are many ways that you can we can configure the system to help you with your picking. Okay, at this point, just one more thing before wrapping up the demonstration today. If you come into our reports, we looked extensively at the Power BI, but our reports, as I mentioned, are about 60 strong here. And we have things like inventory by bin, inventory by item. When you look at inventory history, it's a good example here where you can look globally across all your sites or locally at a particular site. And then you can search by item, license plate, order, or manufacturing job. If I put in item number and I use my wildcard to see all items, maybe I don't want to see all transactions, but I want to focus on a particular transaction. I view the report, and this report is 71 pages long, so I can always drop this into an Excel or CSV file. But if you see the micro detail of what takes place, this bin transfer gets a transaction number 4051. And you can see John Doe today moved 998 from the receiving bin 1 of this item with this description over to the A0204 bin. So that's the kind of micro historic data that we have to do any research you need on all transactions within our system. Okay, so now coming back to the PowerPoint presentation, just a couple things as wrap up. I always like to talk about next steps where you can learn more from our website at WithoutWire.com and Scanco.com, actually 2 websites here at the moment. And you can view blogs and recorded webinars to learn more, some URLs there. And then always invite an email or a call with additional questions to anyone on our sales team. Melissa, I'll turn it over to you for any questions that might be available.
All right. Well, I know we are close on time, so what I'm going to do is if there are a follow-up email after the presentation, I will make sure to include them in there so everyone has their questions answered. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.